Hey, bookish baddies. Welcome to Black Girls Lit.
Where fine women, fine literature, and fine libations collide.
Step into the lit life. Black Girls Lit starts now.
Black women are so complex.
Hey guys, welcome to Black Girls Lit podcast. I am Nicole. To my right is...
I'm Lex.
And I'm Star.
And I'm Natasha.
Welcome, guys. So tell us about our book, Lex, that we got going today.
Yes, so today we're going to be covering Mel Robbins, Let Them. But before we get into the book, we do alcohol pairings with all of our books, as you heard before. So today, the alcohol pairing, or the alcohol of the day, is vodka. But we'll be doing a cocktail that we'll be featuring, our Black Girls Lit cocktail to be exact. Today it is a cucumber cooler, ladies. It is made with one of our featured vodkas for this episode, Chopain, with some tonic water, cucumber, lemon, and mint. So it should be refreshing.
Should we cheers?
Yes.
It's giving
Cheers, ladies.
Cheers, right? Cheers. Some of us really only came for the drinks.
Okay. That's not...
Real good.
Very refreshing.
That is refreshing.
It's fresh.
It's giving spa, summertime.
Just a little bit. I'm
Yeah,
sure
you
put
know.
the pinky in the air like you used to do.
Right.
It's good.
So guys, Let Them is a book by Mel Robbins. Mel Robbins is a TED talk speaker that became really famous for her 5-second rule. Have y'all heard about the 5-second rule?
Yes.
Yes, you have. What
Yes.
have you heard about it?
Where I think it's when you're gonna make a decision about something, like a situation comes up and you pause at that moment, count to 5, and then make the decision or something like that. I know it's something you give yourself just a moment, so that way you don't. It's the whole you don't to avoid regret things. So you actually like think through things a little bit.
So that's the biggest thing about Mel is that all of her self-help books are about practical steps to actually do the work. Instead of just saying, you're supposed to do this and be this person, she's like, here's the practical steps of how you can do that. 5-second rule. Boom. Get up. So Let Them has now become one of those super popular another principles that she's promoting or writing about.
Okay, so off rip, we're going to talk about how do we feel about this book, ladies. Now, y'all know we have our rating system. Here, we're going to either give it a cheers, meaning yes, we love it. We're going to either sip it, meaning, it was okay. Think maybe 3 stars. Or it can be babysit, you're going to get through it. You don't really love it, but you're going to get through it. Or send it back. And we know that means send it back.
We don't like it.
So, this one, I'm gonna say cheers. I would say I got a lot out of this. I'm gonna give it a cheers.
Okay. I'm going to give it a cheers as well. I'm down for that one.
I think I'm gonna give it a sip. This was my first ever self-help book. I will say that. So that's not my genre of choice usually, y'all. But I did learn a lot from the book. But I don't think still self-help is my genre. But Mel Robbins, Pastor Mel, as I called her throughout the entirety of the book, I really did think that she taught some good things for people to think about. So I'm gonna sip to this one.
Okay.
I'm kind of on the same page with you, Lex. Not my favorite genre. I think I'm babysitting this one for sure.
Babysit.
Life and its experiences. I don't want to, be too down on it, but when you live a little bit of life, you kind of know some things. So I'm gonna babysit. But good. There's good stuff. There's good stuff in there for sure. But I'm babysitting.
I love self-help reading. I'm like, don't tell me all this stuff. Like I really think like I said, I've lived enough life that I feel like I know what I'm doing, or at least I can fake it like I know what I'm doing. But I think for me, I like that it comes with like the practical steps, so I can really like put into play. And I do think that she is like just super like real and relatable. So even when compared to other self-help, now I mean, I'm always gonna I prefer fiction just because I like to get lost in a different world. But if I think about it compared to other like self-help, other stuff in the genre, that's why for me I was like, oh yeah, sure, I can get down with this one. It didn't feel so much like someone's like preaching at you or or giving you like unrealistic stuff like, oh, just wake up every day and write affirmations. Right. Yeah. It felt like a little bit more real to me, so I think that's why it sort of vibe with me. But
She did have a lot of real
I respect y'all
practical.
babysitting.
She said sip, and she said babysit.
The babysit took me off guard.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, I think she had some good points in there. When you first heard the phrase "let them," what did it bring up in you? Like, what does that phrase in itself mean to you?
Very literal for me. Let people, whatever they're gonna do, let them do it. I mean, in the big scheme of things, there's just so many things going on in life to be concerned about what other people have going on. Like, and you can only control yourself. You can't control other people.
Right, and I think like that's the thing. Everybody's just let them, just whatever, it's whatever. But I think really, which I guess that's probably what I think of too when somebody say let them. Let people just be them. Let them do whatever they're gonna do. But if you read it, you do realize that it goes a little bit deeper than that. But yeah, initially that was my thought. Just let people be them.
Let them. Okay, so exactly what she meant. Was there anything within the first 25 pages of reading the book that you were like, oh, no, this is standing out to me? I know she started off with a story of her son doing a last minute prom thing. Mm-hmm. And she just feeling like really stressed out by the plan in itself instead of just relaxing and being like, if that's how he wanted, if it's raining outside and that's what they want to do, just let them. Was there anything that stood out to you within those first couple pages?
I think a lot stood out to me in those first couple of pages because I really did truly feel like she was talking to me at one point in the book. Because I am one of those people, especially if I plan something. So I too would be a little stressed if my child is having this experience and I want it to be perfect for him. I too would probably crash out just a tad. But that's all coming from a loving place, is her being, his mother and wanting him to have a good time. But I related to that because I'm the same way. Especially when it comes to something that I'm planning or looking forward to. Like, I want everyone to enjoy it. I want everybody to have the ideal experience. But in that book, I learned everyone's ideal experience. Lex's ideal experience.
You want them to have the experience that you
of a lifetime.
And you want them to have the response that you expect for them. And I definitely can relate.
And Mel said, cut that shit out. It really doesn't matter as long as we're all here and experiencing it together. So she got me together.
All right, ladies. Before we get a little bit deeper, hold on now. We gotta get my feel on this right here, right? That's what we're doing next.
We do gotta get a feel on this.
The first pairing we have is Tito's with the hot Cheetos. Okay, what did you say it was called again?
The spice on the block.
The spice on the block. Okay.
Here we go.
Okay. The Tito's is Tito's. I mean,
It's Tito's.
That Tito's is Tito's.
I guess I should be.
We weren't supposed to drink the whole thing.
Let me tell you.
She's a lush, y'all.
Let them. Girl,
it's giving lush.
This Tito's
do
with
what you do, sweetheart.
hot Cheetos is supposed to be bold, unapologetic,
Miss that.
and a little nostalgic. Sorry.
It's giving nostalgia from back in the day when you didn't know what to drink, so you just. That's the nostalgia I'm getting.
I'm feeling like these are uncles like on the corner about to fry some fish eventually, mixing it up with a little, I don't know, but it says, according to this, it says this combo hits like Friday nights on a stoop. Debates over beats. Something always cooking in the air. Streetwise with a smile.
I can say that.
The way ChatGPT, the opinions.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I like the hot Cheetos are actually toning it down.
The hot Cheetos are good.
The hot Cheetos are making it
Actually,
okay.
So ChatGPT is like it's giving Crooklyn.
What?
That's what I heard. Absolutely.
You should feel a splash of Missy Elliott, a little bit of a SZA. Hit different.
Oh, wow.
Hit different.
I don't feel none of
You're
that.
supposed to be feeling that right now. You're not feeling none of that.
It's hitting, but it's not.
I'm
Ready to
saying,
move on.
honest opinion is giving Tito's and hot Cheetos. Like,
It's
that's
giving Tito's
That
and hot
exactly
Cheetos.
what it is.
exactly what you thought it was. That's what it is.
It's giving Tito's and hot
It's
Cheetos.
corn based. So you saw how they put that together, and then it's made in Texas,
Yeah.
Austin, Texas.
Sure,
So
giving
just in case y'all don't know. But well, as hard as that hit, are there any heavy things in life that you had problems letting go of? Because Let Them was telling you about family relationships and relationships in general, where you're trying to like control the narrative a little bit or control how somebody reacts or acts. Are there any situations for yourself that you feel like are heavy?
I think for me, I want to put the Let Them theory in place because I'm like, it definitely makes sense. And I love it. But I will say, speaking from like the mom point of view, that's like the hardest one. So, I mean, I have kids, but they're all grown now. Officially had 3 grown kids. My last one about to graduate. And watching your kids and trying to like guide them through the early phases of like early adulthood, it's like a whole, it's a whole situation. And trying to like let them sometimes, it's like, it's trying because you just want so badly for them to go the path that you know is going to be the easier path. Like, hey, I already learned these life lessons. Could you please learn from what I have already gone through? Let me just tell you, give you the whole guidebook and just do it like this. But at some point you do have to just step back and be like, okay, let them. But watching somebody do what you feel like is maybe bad choice, like what you feel like maybe bad choices is so hard, especially when it's somebody you love, you know. Mm-hmm. And I think I could see, I have like, friends going through, like they have, where it's like, parents who are getting older and they're trying to, I have a friend like whose parent has cancer and things like that, and you're trying to like help them make decisions, but also respect the fact that they're adults, and it's like all kinds of stuff like that. It's just, in those situations, I think that's when it's hardest to just let them, because you're like, but
yeah.
but I want you to.
Yeah.
But if they don't want to,
I can kind of piggybacking on that same thing with my son. Like, he's a new adult, we'll say. Just recently turned 21, and it's the same thing where it's like I had to get to a point where, you know what, I've raised him. I poured in what I needed to pour in. And it really got to a point where I said, you know what? I have to trust God and let God have it. I pray for him. He stays covered in prayer. I pray for him. My mom prays for him. And at this point, I tell him, listen here, I don't have no bail money, and I'm about to go to sleep. So
that's it.
Be responsible, make good decisions, good night. And I sleep well at night, because, it gets to a point where you do have to trust. It's still hard, right, to watch them make the bad decision. And I think for me, it got to a point where I said, if he listens to me enough, he's going to hit the wall. We all hit the wall, right? We all hit the brick wall. But if he listens enough, he'll hit the brick wall going 20 miles per hour instead of 100. Mm. You know what I mean? Okay. And I got some peace in that. So, yeah.
I know, right? I like this. Now, Lex, you called her pastor.
Bishop.
Bishop,
if you will.
Help me understand, what was it about Mel that was bringing that for you?
Yeah, I think there was a part in the book where she was talking about friendships and how there are different stages of friendship, and how there's this thing that happens when you're in your like mid-20s where everybody in that same age group as you, who may be your close friends at the time, are going through very transitional periods of their life, and so that affects how the friendship could look over time. And I think that is exactly the period of life that I'm in right now, being 28, where I think a lot of my friends, we've just graduated, are thinking about going back to school, getting married, having kids, having a new life partner, all of those big things that change how a person's life looks and can change how the relationship looks is happening. And she just kind of talked about how that's natural, and that's what growing up looks like, and just being able to adapt with those changes. And it's not something that I think I've struggled with, but it's definitely something that through that book I was able to put language to how I was feeling. And being validated in that way, I think that is powerful when an author is able to do that. And so that's one of those moments where I was like,
and that doesn't stop. That doesn't end. Like, that is a continuous part, I think, of
The
life.
scattering
Yeah,
part.
because
Yes,
there's that,
that's strong.
there's that pattern and that cycle and that stage, but it never stops.
I think the crazy thing is, I guess in life, they put you in such a system that you're all growing up together. Like she was saying, you go through middle school and elementary school and high school with people. You have like the system of how everything works, and then all of a sudden, you hit adulthood, and it's no longer those already predetermined groups of people for you. You know, it's like it's not a high school we're going to. It's like you got to now figure out how
you gotta
to
try if that's your friend for real.
Right.
Yeah, it's the effort. Like,
Yeah.
we had to schedule a date for real. Like, what's your availability?
Right,
Where's
like
your
let's look at the calendar.
Because we're not in the same
Because
science class
right,
anymore.
if I tell you, we're going to get together, we are never getting together unless we put it on this calendar right now. Because I'm good for, great, we got to get together. We gonna get together soon.
You gotta write it down. It's gotta.
And
It's
it's
gotta.
it's 6 months later.
I am lying to you. I am never going to. We are never having drinks together unless you saw me put it on my calendar.
That part.
Yeah, and that's a transition. That's a huge transition. When you didn't have to used to do that with your close friends, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, I'm confined to my calendar. Wait, next month? No, that's not gonna work.
Right.
I gotta work at this time. You gotta work at that time.
Right.
It's wild. Well, since we're talking about transitions, next transition is gonna be mint condition, aka.
Girl, I thought we was talking about the 90s R&B.
So the next pairing that we have, we're nicknaming it mint condition because it's watermelon with mint as well.
And
with,
we're pairing that with the Chopin, right?
Chopin. Now I was calling this Chopin.
Shopping, in fact.
Shopping. It was
It was real ignorant. It was real ignorant.
We have called it 100 different things at any given time.
But the right thing.
According to the Googles of it all, it is Chopin. So we going with that, like the artist, right?
Right. So
According to the who of it all?
The Googles.
I love
the
it.
Googles. So this is supposed to be light, elevated, and easy, like a breeze. Pretty much what you should be tasting is light floral notes. Oh, she said, being sanitary, y'all. Post-COVID, keep it clean. This should give you the vibe of a spa day meets rooftop lounge. Let's see.
Love your little lounge.
I love mint on my watermelon. It's giving bougie.
What you should be tasting in here is Erykah Badu, Lord Janae, Cleo Soul. You should be feeling her a little bit. Tim's. So we'll see. We're going to see if that's what I taste. Little Moonchild, you remember that from Brandy?
That's when I stopped listening. Sorry.
First of all, I like watermelon and mint now. Didn't know.
Yeah, me too.
I like watermelon.
This pairing is actually really good.
This is good.
Well, the vodka we love.
I'm feeling the.
I'm not even a vodka drinker for real.
The way the Chopin is smooth.
It,
And then
much better than the Cheeto.
Watermelon and mint, though. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. So thinking about smooth, there's a portion of the book where Mel was talking about wanting to have a social group. She saw her group with old friends. Not to give away too much craziness, but pretty much she saw some friends on Facebook, like somebody remembered having the time of their life. And she realized that she may need to create a group of people of her own. How do you feel about that? Because one of the suggestions she made was like, go into a coffee shop, sitting in, making new friends, sit out there and do that.
well, I thought that was a lot for me. Again, I'm not just going out and trying to just like just trying to make friends like that. But because I just feel like, which maybe if you're in a position like her, you know, she's a writer, so it is very easy for her to be very solitary. Mm-hmm. You're in your house, you're doing your thing.
That's a good valuation.
So maybe I guess if that was my situation, maybe I would have to, find ways to actually go out and make friends. But I just feel like the people you end up hanging out with, spend a lot of time with, they're people that's like in your proximity, sort of like how she addressed. So the people you work with, we getting off work, I'm tired, you tired, but let's go get a drink. Mm-hmm. Or we hungry. I mean, I don't know. So I couldn't see myself I'm just not going out to make friends.
First of all, let's talk about Natasha.
That might just be.
She makes
and that is not the truth.
Lying.
For all the people sitting up here right now, she is not telling the truth. Yes, like absolutely not. The extent to which she kept going on, like absolutely not. It sounds good, but
in a
no.
coffee shop and make friends.
I don't believe you.
Cornhole or something like that.
Yeah.
First of all, I do put myself in situation.
We just had
she puts herself out there.
She definitely.
We just had an event yesterday that we went to. We were at a bar sitting, and she asked this girl if she could have some chips off of her plate.
I came in, I'm like, she got a whole new friend. Like, interrupted our complete event. Like, she's sitting down at the bar with a whole new friend. Like, it wasn't 8 of us together having a whole experience. Like, hey, girl.
Tell Natasha, she can come in and get some more of the chips and stuff like that.
She had a whole chip and dip platter. It was one person with a whole chip and dip platter. I was just like, hey, not for nothing, but you might have had like one potato chip. Like,
miss not going to random places making new friends.
That's a lot. So much so that this girl was like, you know what? She got introduced as a certain name. Let's say her name was what did she use my name? Nicole. She was like, you know what? No, I prefer to be called Nikki. So if you could tell Natasha, call me Nikki. I'm like,
not on.
So at this point, was she hitting her or what?
Right.
That's a conversation for another day. We'll circle back on that one. But yeah,
I don't know what that's.
I do agree, but seriously and honestly agree with the proximity. I really, truly, in fact, am not going to any random place and making friends with people. Like, I'm not doing that. Okay. I have gotten more friendly.
Okay.
Now that I've gotten older, I have gotten more friendly. Well, I will, I'll entertain a conversation or, hey, how you doing? Type of thing like that. But we're not gonna be besties after that. Like,
what does friendship require for you now at this? And are you open to? First of all, are you wanting new friends, and are you open to it?
That's a good question. I'm not closed to new friendships and new relationships, but they definitely have to be intentional. You know what I mean? And have some purpose. Like,
okay.
I don't need a whole bunch of random people taking up energy and space because we've done that. I just feel like been there, done that.
Okay.
You know?
It's all about quality.
The whole 20s, like they were a blur. There was a lot of people involved.
So just like everything else at this point, it's quality. If a quality person pops in, hey, that's cool. But like I said, I don't need just a body just to be another body in my circle.
And I'm not opposed to getting, ending, friendships or relationships that don't have any positive, and not necessarily to say that what they don't have, but if it brings any negativity, like if it brings any negativity or is draining in any way, I don't need that. And I'm completely okay with like letting them
let them be them.
Yeah.
Let them.
Like, I love you, no wish no harm, like no love lost, but that I just can't.
And that's the thing too, everything that ends does not have to end badly. Sometimes it ran its course. It was over, and if it just turns out that we haven't spoken in 2 or 3 years, that's cool.
Right.
We had good times back then. Like,
that was good memory.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw you on Facebook, and I realized we no longer have anything in common.
Yeah.
I cannot even see myself being. Where are you at? No, it's good.
How do you feel about making new? You're just talking about you're now getting to this new part of life. Where you're seeing the scattering.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the possibility of
I mean, I think it's definitely a topic that's not talked about enough, which is, I respected Mel for getting into it a little bit, is how do you make friends as an adult? Like, I don't think that's not something that anybody talks about. And so, like, for me, I'm not from Atlanta. I'm all the way from Utah. So moving all the way over here, leaving everything I knew. I had a little long distance boyfriend, but he was long distance. And so it's like, how do you go from being in a place that you've been for the last 23 years of your life, uprooting and going somewhere else where you don't know nobody. Like, how do you make friends like that? And so, I don't know. I think this book, again, it made me think a lot about what matters, but also the importance of, like, knowing yourself to know who you want to surround who you want to be around. So, I don't know. I think, I don't think it's something that I've mastered in any way. Like, I definitely don't like to be by myself, but you will not catch me going out to dinner alone. You will not, like, I'm not doing
Me either. I am not. I'm not doing. I cannot do that.
I will absolutely. I will take my little order to go home and watch TV because I don't like. That gives me anxiety.
Why? But here's the thing. I used to think that too, but you know what? The phone. It helps. It does help. It helps me with that because I used to be like, oh, that's going to be weird. Like, I like to talk to people over, like over a meal or drinks or what have you. But the last probably couple of months, I have gone out by myself because people say they're coming in and they don't show up. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to sit in the house and be bored. Like, I'm still going to go. And I just cut my little, whatever show I've been watching here or whatever movie I want to watch, I cut it on and put one of my earbuds in and watch the show, and it's just like, like you said, like being here at home watching TV. So that's cool. And get to do a little people watching at the same time. So
I might, if I do it, at a bar. If I decide to sit at a table, I probably won't have anything on, but I just like to watch people. It kind of like allows you to just have your own thoughts, and then people are super nice to you, of course.
When you're alone, they are. I get free drinks. I get extra shots. I get all types of perks. Absolutely. Better get into it. We're just trying this. We got sent back into the bar. We just tried this out. You want to try it? Yeah, why not? I don't know. I mean, what you mean by sent back? Like, did they breathe over it? Because I don't want it then, but
I don't know. Yeah, I would need to. I'm that girl. If I'm going to go out alone, it needs to be like to an organized function. Like, oh, it's a community kickball. Y'all come out, and so it's like we're interacting, we're meeting. But Lex will never.
No. If you be in a restaurant alone. Don't say never.
Community. Because
it gives me. My heart is beating so fast just thinking. I can't do it.
I will say can you make friends differently at different stages of life? So of course, I mean, so. At the age you're at now, I feel like, it's mainly going to be, the people that you work with or, that you interact with somehow, like on a daily basis. Typically, it's going to be work. Then you get to that stage where you start having kids. Now you got to go to, like, the kids' events. And let me tell you, this is the key. This thing, you go to the events with the kids. Because, a lot of parents, you're not going to like them. But these got to be your friends.
Oh, my God.
So let's say, what you got to do. You got to see, you sit back a little bit, and you see who rolling their eyes as hard as you rolling your eyes, if you're an eye roller. Now, if you want them good people that's all in it, then you go look and you find the people that also look like they all in it too. Yeah. But me, I'm going to sit back and, okay, who else right here rolling their eyes? Ooh. Becky rolling her eyes. Let me ease my way over to Becky. Because me and Becky, I be like, and then you throw out like a little snarky comment, and then Becky, when she laughs, you're like, okay, now I got a friend, and you just got to find the people that sort of vibe. But let me tell you this thing, your kids, they gonna have some friends, and a kid may be all right, but then their parents be like a little odd. You like a little bit, no. We cannot be having play dates over here. We just cannot. Just drop him off. Drop him off over here. We'll be fine. No, don't stay. You don't stay there. Right. No. Just drop him off and go.
Okay. They'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. But that's why I was just telling Alvin, I was like, Maya is graduating. I said, we are officially about to be at that place, but we do not have to be in places with other parents that we may or may not like. We just really we'll never be in that situation again.
Oh gosh, you'll be in other situations.
You will. You will.
I gotta be dealing with other people's parents, but
I don't think you're dealing with the parents, right?
I don't know.
I mean, the only other parents should have is like if they get married.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
next.
with the
That's
in-laws.
next up.
I'll be cool in-laws. I feel like everybody gonna like me. And if my kids
that
pick
one
like I
guy.
tell them to pick, then we'll be all right.
You know what?
But you gotta let them.
You gotta let them though.
You gotta let
they pick how you tell them to pick.
They know their mama.
See out there?
Gonna be around. They know their mama gonna be who their mama gonna be. So if I was them, I would pick wisely.
Right.
They know who they dealing with.
All right. Last pairing of the day.
Yes.
This one is going to be
And
nicknamed.
when you say pairing, I just hear shots.
See, that's the
You know,
delicious.
that's technically what you're hearing.
That's
it's really. You should hear a little shaker in the background. So this one is called After Hours and Always On.
Oh,
I don't know. Let them don't have that type of vibe.
It
at
really
all.
doesn't.
No.
Nothing
So-
sexy about it.
Nothing sexy about the book.
But hey,
Other than self-empowerment. Like, it's
I guess
like,
that's sexy.
yes.
self-empowerment is definitely
Self-empowerment
sexy.
is
For you
sexy.
to, I'm so sorry. You've been holding this so
Yeah, I
patiently.
was, but it's all good.
Thank you. Remember last time these are
Self-empowerment.
espresso beans. I'm gonna go light.
The whole idea,
That's probably
knowing yourself enough is it, like knowing you
Thank you so much.
and deciding. Well, that really at the end of the day, it really is more about
Pass it.
yourself than really them. If you get to the root of it, it's about hey, let me. That's like the main part. So if you're to that point where you're so self-assured and you know yourself and you know what you are okay with and not okay with, that definitely is a sexy vibe. So
Okay, let's
here's
try
to
that.
let them being sexy.
Sexy. Who do that? Letting them.
Let it.
So what is this? The kettle one?
this is Kettle One with the chocolate-covered espresso beans.
Kettle One is all right with me.
Okay.
A1 since day one. We
Give
go
an
back.
espresso martini when you mix them.
I'm gonna say this. Chopin, Kettle One was my go-to. Chopin is just so much smoother. The Kettle One got like a little burn to it now.
It does, but
Another
with the espresso, with the
espresso,
chocolate
I
espresso
want
It's
beans,
good with the
bite that and then take the shot is absolutely good. The most
Espresso
amazing
martini.
espresso martini for sure.
So the type of music you should be hearing right now is Nina Simone, some Moses, something, some Amy Winehouse. You should be feeling that while you're drinking.
Okay, Amy. Nah, but
No, I'm not getting that.
Oh, the weekends, after hours.
I love
This
that.
is definitely gonna wake you up. Now I don't know about
I
this.
love that combination.
It's really good.
Really?
These are dangerous.
Yeah, the little
Espresso
beans.
beans, these espresso beans, that you would
They're
snack on
really
these
good.
and then be awake.
I wonder how the espresso beans would taste with the stuffing.
That'd be good.
I mean, at this point, it sounds like something we should do.
Yeah.
So I think part of the concluding of it all, if we can get to that part, is just when you start investing more energy. I think a lot of self-help books, probably the whole thing of the world is to stop controlling everybody else and start learning
You
how to
only
control
control you.
yourself.
You can only control you.
And the
for
more that
sure.
you do that, the more energy what you're actually trying to accomplish will actually happen. So you being an example, you saying, I'm going to stop saying, you need to do this, you need to do that, and focus, why are you doing that, blah, 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 blah. And when you start just putting that energy, like, you know what, I'm going to start doing it. I'm going to go work out. I want this person to do that. I'm going to do all the energy. And then hopefully maybe they'll follow your example. Maybe they won't, but either way, you're going to get better.
You get a lot accomplished. I tell you that.
And
That's
I think
for sure.
we, as human beings in general, spend a lot of our own energy involving ourselves in everybody else's story instead of trying to paste ours together. Would y'all agree or disagree?
I think yeah, but then I also think that if you look at like all of us as being like even like doing this like being like in a creative world. I think that and when I told you before about the kid, I think like that being a creative is like also another very difficult place to be like, oh, we'll just let them and then let you, because you have to put yourself out there. You're creating something in your mind. It's amazing. And then you put it out there in the world like throw it back at you like, what? What was you And you're not, okay. But maybe it wasn't just for you. you. Okay, hold on, let me find my people.
Right.
No, we just asked you to refine it. Get better.
So I do think like that part is. I mean, in most areas of my life, I really am like, hey, let them. Hey, what? Natasha, what do you have control over? Just do that. Just do that, hey, you know? And also, don't let other people stop you, because if you have this vision of something that you want to create, something you want to put out there, yes, you may have the first, even 100 people could look at you and be like, trash. It really just me, though, maybe, though, that 101st person may be like, no, this is amazing, and then they're gonna spark it, and then that's gonna be the one that gets it going. But I definitely would say in the creative space, you just do have to throw yourself out there a lot of times.
Yeah.
That whole let them, it be a little hard sometimes because your feelings be set up to be hurt. Okay,
It's not a setup. It's not. Prove yourself. So, for this book, who would you recommend this book to? And why would you think they need to read it? So I would want that from everybody. Like, who is this book for? Who would you recommend it to? And why should they read it?
I would recommend it to young adults.
Okay.
When I say young adults, like, you know, people have a tendency to think that they're grown when they hit that 18-year-old mark, and that's not a thing. And then, you know, there's that 21. And it's like, okay, now I'm grown. Like, no, you're legal. You know, you know, grown is really a state of mind.
Okay.
Right.
I get you.
So I think it would be a good book for those that are in that kind of those early 20s where you really want to be on your own, but you realize that you are still pretty dependent on your parents, but you don't necessarily want to listen to everything that they say, or you want to have a dialogue. You know, you want to be able to have a dialogue. I think it's a good read for people who are in that kind of stage of life.
Okay.
Almost like a mentor, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would agree. So I work in higher ed. I work with college students every day. But I would recommend this to like a senior, like a junior or a senior in college. Because that's when you're really starting to test adulthood and you find out how ghetto it is very quickly. So I would recommend this, like, it's probably around what Star was saying, like, a young adult, but someone who's like really about to take a deep dive out of anything organized. So, a senior in
transition and
college,
stuff. Okay.
junior in college, probably.
Now see, I was gonna say that I would give it to. I just must have given it to Amaya, if she's getting ready to. I said, you know, she's 18 and getting ready to go out into the world, but I don't think it's so much about her age why I would give it to her. I would give it to her because I feel like she is a person who really does. She's hard on herself, and she also like listens to like what other people say. So I think she's a person who's easy to let other people like get in her head sometimes, and like could influence and like make her like pause and not have that confidence in herself. And so I think for her, she's a person because of her personality, I feel like she's a person who, if she ready to get that idea of, hey, regardless of what they are doing, don't let that stop you, or don't let other people's opinions of you stop you. Hey, even though they're doing this, you do you. It's okay if they don't like it or whatever. You know, I mean, just sort of like to help her not focus so much on what other people may think or getting something wrong. And like that's, you know, she's real confident and she wants to do things the right way. And like, guess what, girl? Ain't no right way. Like everybody here fumbling through the same life you fumbling through. Like they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
But like if she could like hear that and get that message, I feel like it'd be good for her. Like, just because of her personality is.
I would agree with the young adults. I would also put it for somebody that wants to be like more self-aware, or they feel like they're trying to control everything in life. Anybody that's in transition, I think that the book will be very helpful on just seeing a different perspective of life and how to actually, if you're trying to, like I said, empower yourself. I feel like this book definitely communicates that, Star.
All right. So our last segment, as we wrap this thing up.
Right. So we like to close out every episode with top for thought. We'll let y'all figure that one out. So for this week's Top for Thought, we selected a powerful quote from the book, and it is, you don't need permission to be yourself. You don't need anyone's approval. You don't need to explain yourself. Let them think what they want. Let them talk. Let them judge. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you're being true to yourself. Touche. Touche. And with that, okay,
our last little
we'll
shot.
take a shot
I
to
think
that.
everyone loves the champagne.
Yes.
Oh, Jake.
Run me that. And an espresso maybe too. No.
Let me tell you something about my
What's
cousin.
up?
She is heavy-handed on this pour. Like, did I just say my cousin be
That
heavy-handed
is
on this pour?
not. This is a whole. It's only half. Anyway,
Am I the only
So
one that got a glass?
listen.
Shout
Thank
out
you
to
guys.
Mel.
Okay, thank you guys for tuning in and
Shout out to
hanging out with
y'all.
us.
What's next?
Catch us. I was just about to. I was just about to tell the people.
Excited in here.
Okay, you guys can catch us next time. We'll be talking about the other side of the pillow by our girl Zane. So you already know how that's gonna go.
I'm just saying.
Right. Until then, cheers.
Cheers, y'all.
Thank you for listening to the Black Girls Lit podcast. Join us on our next pour and our next page, The Other Side of the Pillow by Zane. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and follow.